Gay Bridge, I'm Susie Patrick.
Dr. Divi is in this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming in. We were speaking during the break, referring to our first email question for the day, and you were saying you hear this all the time from people. Derek in Richmond sent in an email saying, I've had some added stress in my life, and now my stomach is acting up. I've altered my diet, changed my exercise routine. It hasn't helped. Antacids give some temporary relief. It is not solving the problem. Any advice?
Wow, that's a great question. It's very, very common. Gut issues are incredibly common in our society nowadays. We see more and more people with gut issues. So this morning I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about the mind-body medicine reasons behind it. Gut issues people don't recognize are actually related strongly to people's emotions. We actually say in medicine that we have a second nervous system that goes inside our gut. From our mouth all the way to our bum, there's actually 500 million neurons or nerve endings that are there. And we actually forget that they're even there. So they hold on to emotions and stress. So Derek's question is very, very classic. Nowadays we have a lot of people with stomach problems from heartburn to ulcer, and these emotions are causing it. We have all these emotions that run through our body. We're not even aware of it. A lot of us are trained to stuff those emotions down. We ignore them. We don't even know we're feeling sad or angry or resentful. So we just stuff them down. So the first step is just to be aware of it. Know that you're feeling not well, express the emotion, and get it out. The next step, I say, once you've expressed it, is to realize that you're even having it. Then that gets it out, which is a huge step.
When you say get it out, what do you mean?
It's a great question. Express it. If you're feeling angry, tell the person you're feeling angry. If you're feeling sad, feel sad. If you're feeling resentful, feel resentful. Allow yourself to feel it. Now, the thing that most people don't realize is emotions actually create thoughts, create emotions, create thoughts. So thoughts actually think themselves. So even once you've expressed the emotion, because we have 60,000 thoughts a day, these thoughts keep going over and over and over again. So what I like people to realize, I teach this in my workshop, every topic is two topics, having it and not having it. One side you've got it, the other side you don't. So if you think, okay, the most common reason for stomach problems is the thought of, I'm not good enough, there's a lot of fear there. So fear gets stuck there. The opposite side is, I am good enough, I am perfect, I am amazing. But when you just say it that way, it doesn't stick. So you've got to start really, really general with your statements. For example, I've made it this far. I am doing this. I am okay. And the more you do that, the easier it gets. So recognizing and expressing is a huge thing. And the next step is to state your statements and get your head wrapped around that things are working out for you. And then those 40,000 thoughts a day will actually start to shift, and you'll actually start to feel better. The other thing I always tell people is that the more you can be in the moment now, it'll make a huge difference. When we're in the now, we're more likely to be in the emotions of joy, of love, and of well-being. Thoughts of fear or anger or blame, they're past or they're future. But the more we're in the now, the easier it is. So an emotion is energy in motion and wants to move through your body. So first you feel it, you express it, you play with the back and forthness of thoughts. And the last thing I always recommend is to start an appreciation journal. When we're actually at the end of the day appreciating what we're feeling, appreciating our life, appreciating what we're going through, then what happens is through the day, you'll actually look for things to appreciate. I was driving in this morning and thinking, wow, what a beautiful day. That's something to write in my appreciation journal tonight. So the more often you do that, the more you'll be in the now. Then the emotions get expressed, and then you actually can clear what's stuck in the stomach. So those 500 million neurons that are lining the stomach, as you get it out, you start to shift more often, then those neurons actually get happier, and they actually get to release. A lot of people nowadays have gluten insensitivity, and there's 30% of people that avoid gluten, and there's only 1% that are actually truly, truly celiac disease. So by doing this, I myself had the same problem. By doing this, we can actually eat pizza again. We can actually feel good again. We can actually feel happy in our body again. So it's actually quite cool.
So it's part of a journey that you need to start on. And slowly, do you find that your patients are able to resolve their gut issues on their own?
100%. It takes a bit of work and patience. It's the core of what I teach people. But with time, with practice and patience, it is a journey. There's no question it's a journey. But the more you start, the easier it gets. But if you don't start, then the stomach will just get worse, and it'll develop into something else. But it is a journey, and yeah, I've seen it with lots of people. It's the core of my teaching. Yeah.
We have another question. Annette in Langley writes, I've battled insomnia for years. I've tried so many methods to get to sleep. What do you recommend?
Great question. Insomnia is a huge issue, just like stomach problems. So with insomnia, the first thing I would tell you is the most common thing is that the mind's been churning all day. So the obvious things, avoid caffeine during the day, try not to watch TV or computers after about 5 or 6 p.m., but watch the mind during the day. Same as what we talked about with gut issues. The more you can be in the now, the more you can actually see what's happening right now, then it's easier to shut the mind off. If you're more future-based, then when you go to sleep at night, it's impossible to fall asleep. So it's a big part of the workshops I teach is how to do that. And I'm actually in Kelowna in a couple of weeks, and Vancouver and Surrey in a couple of weeks as well, teaching these tools.
All right. Yeah. A lot of people can make use of them. If you have more questions for Dr. Sean Nutt, check out her website, drdivi.com. And if you'd like to win a copy of Divi's new book, send us an email, weekendnews@globaltv.com. Be sure to include your full name, address, and phone number. Next week, Realtor Sarah Daniels is back. If you're buying, selling, or just curious about real estate, feel free to send in your questions. Great. Thank you so much, as always, for coming in. Good advice this morning. Edgewood is our small town feature today, and Sonia is going to take us on more of a tour.